Hey. Hi, everyone. Tara back here today with Mahi. We've spoken to her previously, and we wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into some of the topics that we discussed the last time that we chatted. So today we are here talking about this feeling of feeling exhausted and feeling tired that a lot of us are experiencing. So yeah, Mahi, thank you so much for doing this with me again, and I'll kind of just let you take it from there.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. If it can help somebody, it's worth it.
I
If it's
agree.
one person. Um, we're talking about feeling exhausted. What do we do with that? Where's that coming from? How can I not be as exhausted? So we are energy, or we are made of energy. So we send vibes and we receive vibes.
Right.
And as we receive a heck of a lot more than what we're sending out. So what I would like you to do is learn a way to not pick up as much of the collective energy that's out there.
Yeah.
And I find that some days I'm really, really good with it, and other days I could just, I
Yeah.
just feel the tightness and the heaviness of it, and it makes me just like so tired. So I use these techniques that I'll show you today to just lift it, or at least deal with what's ours or what's
Yeah.
mine, and not have to deal with all the others around.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because
so
I think that's a big thing, right? Of people not recognizing what belongs to them versus what you're taking on from other people. And especially in close quarters with many family members in a home. I'm thinking of like moms and dads who have children running around. We tend to collect a lot of energy that isn't necessarily part of our own being, and not recognizing that that also adds to this
mhm.
exhaustion, right? This feeling of tiredness.
Yeah. So what I call us is I call us all the SpongeBob and SpongeBobettes of the world, because
Yes.
a sponge just takes it in, right, and keeps it there. So that's what we're doing. And as we were talking about the last time too, as women, as nurturers, as carer, we tend to take a lot more of what's out there than what is ours.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the ways that is to ask whenever there's something. I don't know if we did that the last time. I don't think we did. When just to ask ourselves, does this belong to me? Whenever there's something, because energy or emotions is energy in motion, emotion, energy in movement.
Mhm.
So it comes and it can go, or
Mhm.
it can come and we can just embody it. So as something comes to disturb us, or to like we feel this emotion that was not there 2 seconds ago, we could just ask, does this belong to me?
Mhm.
And if it's not an instant yes, if we have to think about it and figure out whose could it be and all that, that means it's not ours. It's
Okay.
just something we're picking up. So in the days, I remember when we'd receive a letter in the mail, a
Mhm.
snail letter, we would, and it wouldn't be ours, then we'd just cross and go return to sender. So how about doing that when something comes to, that comes up emotionally? Ask, does this belong to me? And
Mhm.
if it's not an instant yes, then you can just go return to sender. As we do on the letter, you could even just go with this, return to sender, or you could just do it mentally. And just what I found when I started doing that many years ago, it gave me so much lightness and joy. Because for me, I was picking up everything, and now
Yep.
I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to figure, okay, this sadness is there. Oh, what's making me sad? What's all? I didn't have to go and pull it apart and then figure it out and all that. For me, I found it was very simple. Is this mine? Oh, no. Okay, return to sender. And
Yeah.
for me, I add with love and light because that's my Duda. But you could just go return to sender. So try that and try and just do it. Just be attentive at what comes to you and try and do it for maybe half a day or something. And once you start doing that, you're going to go, oh my God. And we're so used to helping others to live the emotions with them, to help them through, especially now because we're with our families, but we have kids, we have parents, we have friends, we have loved ones other places as well. And what we tend to do is like worry and all that, or we pick their energy. Could be on the other side of the world, it could be here. We're just receivers of energy. So how about just doing that sorting by asking, is this mine? Oops, sorry about that. Okay, we'll turn the sound off. Yeah, so so instead of picking it up, just to return it to sender. And when you return it to sender, it's not like saying, "Okay, take that. That's not mine. Your stuff." It's about allowing it to go back to where it started.
Right.
And if the answer is yes, that it is mine, then you could use the technique I showed you last week, or what I'll show you today as well, another technique. So whatever is yours, you don't have to do anything about it. And I find that like with like the elderlies, the residences and all that, like it brings, there's so much sadness and so much worry and all that we're picking up from that as well. So what I just send love and light. Whenever I think of someone that I'm worried about, I just send love and light to them. And how do you do that? You just think about them and you just surround them with love and light. That's all you need to do. There's no special tricks about it. It's just thinking about them and sending that.
Yeah.
I find this is fun because it got me out of being a sponge Bobette in this world that I was so specialized in.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to show you today or share with you today is you all know Tinkerbell, right? From Peter Pan?
Yes.
I don't know if you all wished you were Tinkerbell at one point because it looks like so much fun. You just have your wand and you just go, and then you see all these lights come. It's so magic, right?
Yeah.
So whenever there's some of these emotions that are yours, or you feel stuck into something in something, what you could do is you could just tap into what is there. And usually it's not hard to do. You don't have to go and find a root. You just have to be aware. Oh, at this moment I am tired, or I am sad, or I'm angry. I'm fearful. So whatever is there, and you just bring it up, or it's already there, but you just bring the intensity of it. And then instead of using a wand, you could just imagine that you're holding a dandelion, but not a yellow one, but a fluffy one.
Okay.
You know, when you blow on a dandelion, the white fluffy one, you just, and it just, a little bit like the Tinkerbell, like it starts there and it's just like this. So it just disengages, or it spreads, or it expands whatever is at the nucleus there, which is at the flower. So you could just take a flower, or pretend you're taking a flower, and you could just go with the intention of what you're blowing on is what you're feeling. So if I have this sadness that I'm feeling, I just go, okay, all this sadness. And then, and it seems like magical. It seems like, oh my God, how can that help me?
Yeah.
But try it. I have so many clients that use that. And so many kids that use that as well, because they get it. They feel that when I do that, it just releases some. It gives me more space. And that's what we need right now, is more space to be.
Yeah. And it's because, I think a lot of people don't recognize, like you said, that, that feelings and emotions are energy, right? And so I know when I was working with kids, I used the volcano analogy a lot, right? So if we keep our feelings in and it keeps bubbling and it keeps going, eventually there's nowhere, like the pressure builds up so much that there's nowhere left to put anything. So we explode, right? Or we act out, or we handle it in some sort of way that is outside of ourselves. And that's because, you know, the best way to deal with emotions and feelings is to get it outside of ourselves. Right? And to move it from inside to outside. And I feel like that method is a very good way of getting breathing involved, right? To use visualization to move it from inside to outside, right? And to physically like blow to move it from inside to outside without having to do any of the, you know, traditional ways of, you know, talking about it or whatever the case might be. So I can see how that would be really effective to use, especially in those moments where you're feeling these triggers and you say, does it belong to me? Yes. Okay. What can we do about it? Right. And so that's a really good tool to use.
And if you're somewhere where there's other people, you don't want them to know that you're doing that, you can just do it mentally instead of like I do it like this to show you what we do, but you can just go like this and go, and then nobody knows you're doing that, and then you're taking that, you're honoring your space when you do that, because you're just letting go.
Yeah.
And you can show it to your kids. Those is, for those of you that have kids that are in the house with you or that are away, and then you Skype or you video chat with them, and you can, oh, I've learned this really cool thing. You want to try it, and we'll talk about it the next time if what it does for you. So it could be more as a game as well. That makes you practice it as well, and then you'll get another feedback from somebody else that you know that's tried it. And the kids usually they're not in their head. They will try it because for them it's like, oh, okay. Like it's a game or something to do. And the kids usually get that a lot of stuff is not theirs.
Yeah.
So they don't want to hold it anymore. They don't need to hold it anymore.
Yeah. I find doing stuff like that with kids is a lot of it's almost very beneficial for adults too, to kind of tap back into that imagination and tap back into trying new things and doing things differently, right? Because kids tend to be a lot less inhibited. And so, you know, as an adult, if you're like, oh, you know, like you should try this, it could help, they're a lot more willing to be like, yeah, let's try that, right? Or yeah, that does really help. Opposed to our adult minds tend to try and rationalize everything and bring everything to logic, opposed to physical feeling and emotional being and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because we have to, as adults, we have to be adults.
Yeah.
We have to be serious, and we have to figure it all out before we can let it go. But for me, I find the gift is you don't have to figure it all out before. You can just let it go as it comes without, we're saying the volcano, building and then bursting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see how that would be. And I can also see how bringing on everyone else's, you know, like you said, being a sponge and sucking it in, how that does carry so much exhaustion and feeling tired, because there's only so much that we can take on inside of ourselves, right? So and like we were talking about last time, I don't think it was on the recording, but it was maybe before or after we were recording, was the collective energy of the world and of our country and of our communities right now is very heavy, given everything that's going on. And so even realizing that you may be absorbing some of that as well is really important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just it's for me, it's like witnessing, like being a witness to what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm part of it. I am affected. I am and all that. But for me, it's about being aware of what's around. And when
Yeah.
you take that step back and you start being a witness in your life or just being a bystander, watching what's going around, it's not as damaging to us
Yeah.
because and then we can do things to help. Like I was saying, the love and light for people that um, the the effect of that is just like super huge. If somebody's in a home and you're sending love and light to them, you take the time to just send love and light. What they receive is love and light.
Yeah.
So for that moment or for the time that just follows, there'll be there'll be something that comes into their energy that will help them along. So for me, I find it's such a gift. It's a contribution I can be without with I can't be there, so I can
Right.
be a contribution to the other
Right.
person. Yeah.
Right. And I know that there's always those people out there who, who maybe don't believe or say, how can sending love and light be of benefit? But at the very least, if you feel like, you know, at least it's something you can do, right? Whether you really believe it or not, like at least it's something that you can do in a situation where you feel helpless, right? If someone is in a home or in a hospital or whatever
Yes.
the situation might be, and you can't physically really do anything at all, at least it's something that you can do. It is a practice that you can participate in to feel like you are contributing or like you are doing something for that person.
Yes. And let's not forget if we some of the families have essential workers.
Yeah.
So instead of the worry and that, that's one way of accompanying them
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sending them good vibes
Yeah. And
to
it's
help
kind of
them.
like taking back your power too, in the sense of being in control of what you can control, opposed to worrying about everything that you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's really no benefit in that, to sitting at home worrying about all the things that could potentially occur.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, one of the things that you shared with us last week was the shake it off, right? So, if you feel something, to just, like shake it off or dance it
Yes.
off or
Yeah.
whatever. So, that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to do when you're feeling heavy or feeling, you know, that you're absorbing things, or you're feeling
Yeah.
this exhaustion or whatever. And the next thing would be to, does this belong to me?
Does this belong to me? Yeah.
Right. And like you said, so if the answer inside of yourself isn't immediately yes, then it's a no, from what
Mhm.
I'm.
Yeah, because how I tell my clients is that when you know something, you know it. Like
Right.
there's no having to figure out if you know it or not. Like it's
Right.
instant. So if you don't have that instant, and then you're trying to, and then you find yourself you're trying to figure out, oh, could that belong to, it's not yours. If it's
Yeah.
not an instant, yes. So make it really easy. No,
Yeah.
you don't need to put it in frames and in protocols and all that. It's simple. Does this belong to me? Yes, no, no. Oh, okay. Return to
Yeah.
sender.
Yeah.
So
Because I
as
mean, the
simple
reality is we can, as humans, we
make it
can
ours
make
and
anything our own, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's nice to know that, if the answer isn't immediately yes, then to move
Mm-hmm.
on from it, and don't spend time justifying or figuring out how it is yours somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then the next one is the Tinkerbell
Yeah, our
visual.
little flower. You
Yeah.
just bring it up. It's already there. You bring the energy of it up, and then you can just and you see, I smile when I do all these things.
Mhm.
What I've learned is that yes, emotions are hard, and they like it's no fun to feel sadness, to feel fear, to feel anger, worry, and all that. But when I use this technique, which is, or the other one, which is, does this belong to me? Or I use this, for me, it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, for me, it's light because it's as if I had some stuff on my shirt and I just go, oh, okay, now it's clean.
Yeah.
In that respect, like it doesn't have to be something very dramatic that you do. It could be like just doing it because it's there, and
Right.
that as simple as that. So for me, I find that brings me joy, and I do feel that when I go for walks and when I go shopping or something, like I do feel all this energy around you.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're just walking through it and you're just dealing with it. But as soon as I realize it, if I can do it, I do it there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I do it after. When I
Yeah.
realize after, my God, that was so, like I didn't enjoy that experience at all.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
felt as if I'm just being squeezed and squeezed. So then I can do it when I get home.
Yeah. I actually had an experience the other day that made me think of you is because I went to do groceries for the first time since this has all gotten to the state that it's been in, because I had previously come from the States, so I was on complete isolation. So, I had to have people go do groceries for me and leave it. So this was my first outing into the world. And I got to the grocery store and everyone was lined up with their masks 6 feet apart. And it was a very intense thing because I was, you're not used to it. And you're just kind of like, when they say that we are experiencing trauma, I can totally see how that would be, like you're used to doing things in one way. You go into a grocery store, it's no big deal. You grab your cart, you touch everything,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even think twice. And so here I am standing in this lineup 6 feet apart from people with masks and gloves and all kinds of stuff. And I get to the front of the line and they shove the cart and they're like, that one's clean. And you take that. And it was very nerve wracking, and it was very heavy, and it was you start to think like, okay, that person's too close to me. Okay. Like they touched that apple. I can't have it. And like all these things. And then you get to the cash register and there's the plexiglasses and you're handing the groceries underneath. And I got home and I was like at like a level 10 of anxiety, and just like my whole body was just like, what is happening? And every part of me just wanted to like retreat into my room and just hide.
Mm-hmm.
So instead I was like, okay, let's just like shake this off. Let's just, and it's realizing and becoming conscious, because I can totally see, like, I don't have kids at home where I am now, but I could totally see if you had a partner to come home to or kids to come home to, how that could be transmitted to them as well, right? Especially little beings who are looking to you on how to process through all of this. And you come from the outside world and you're all, full of anxiety and whatever, how that transmits throughout the household. And so it was very eye-opening for me to see how bringing, okay, like all this is happening outside of the world, but how it can easily be brought into the home. And I can only imagine if there's people who have, essential workers who are coming and going and all of that kind of stuff. So I can see how even pre-planning, like, okay, when I come home from the grocery store, I'm going to shake it off, or I'm going to, do the Tinkerbell trick, or I'm going to check what's mine and what's not, and kind of clear yourself before engaging with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it is definitely kind of a very interesting time right now, but a great time to practice these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it does bring the level of whatever we're feeling down, and it makes us more present to ourselves and to our loved ones as well.
Yeah, and to allow us to honor what does belong to us or what we are experiencing, right?
Yeah.
So to take a moment and say, okay, fair, this is freaky or whatever, but then moving on from it instead of owning it and carrying it.
And freezing in it, yeah, and just the
Yeah.
body just freezing.
Yeah. So So these were really great tips, and I'm hoping that you'll come back on eventually and chat with me again to give me maybe some more tips or different strategies for different things, because I find it really helpful, and I feel like there's a lot of people who can benefit from what you have to offer.
Yes, because I do have some more. So
Oh, perfect.
I'll be very happy to share with you guys.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me today, and we will definitely schedule another time to chat again.
Okay, thanks, Tara, and
All right.
take care, everybody.
All right. Thank you.